Is that,
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Property Clinic. This week, we're looking to talk about the recent investment that's gone into the airport. We're going to be going through and discussing what benefit this has in terms of the real estate of the area in Lusaka. Of course, this week I'm joined by Natasha, my co-host, who is in Zambia. And she's joined by Brian Mushota. Tasha, Brian, how are you?
we're good, Tanya.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent.
How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. Tasha, let me just hand over to you. You go ahead and start the topic off with Brian.
Okay, thanks very much. So as you mentioned, I'm here with Brian. I've known Brian for a number of years. He's a partner in CIF, which is one of the top real estate agencies in Zambia. So I'm really talking to an expert, and I'm really happy you can join us this morning.
Thank you, Natasha.
Okay. So as we know, there's been a massive investment into the airport. We're talking about $360 million, which is huge. And we're going to be seeing a new arrivals hall, a new departures hall, new taxiways. There's so much. This is a really massive project. And we want to talk about how it's affecting real estate. We know the project is set to be finished in 2019.
That's right.
And it's going to increase the number of visitors from 1 to 2 million that we have now visiting Zambia to 6 million. So
that's correct.
It's really significant.
Yes, we know.
Yes. So maybe we can just talk about various aspects of real estate, because we know that real estate doesn't just mean residential. What are you seeing now in terms of retail space? Because what we've always known, for those of us who live in Lusaka, is all the shopping malls have been concentrated further up Great East Road around Manderhill Arcades. But now, out of this new airport expansion project, what are you seeing in that area in terms of retail space?
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity once again. Basically, shopping is meant to be convenient, both in terms of the experience as well as getting there. With the population growth in Lusaka, we've seen that there's challenges with traffic, and that's created an opportunity for building of more shopping malls. And in this particular area we're discussing today, we've seen in the last sort of 18 months, 2 shopping malls come up, which is the Garden City shopping malls, the mixed office and retail space, totaling about 8,000 square meters. And then the garden, in addition to the Garden City, we've got the Waterfalls Mall, which is poised to be open in about 2 months' time, which is about 7,000 square meters gross lettable area. So this phenomenal growth has been spurred by, among other factors, the traffic congestion, and also the expansion of the city neighborhoods, and making sure that shopping convenience is right virtually at your doorstep.
Yes, because it's not just about the 6 million new visitors that we're going to get, but it's actually the area that has increased. The population in that area has also increased.
Yes, yeah. The population has increased. Basically, new roads have come in under the L400. The government has created new paved roads, which means that we don't all have to be concentrated in one area. It's Lusaka is being decentralized to cover sort of greater Lusaka. Up to 20-30 k's out of the center of the city. We're still pretty much around Lusaka.
That's great. And the new airport expansion is also going to include retail space, isn't it?
Yes, the company that runs our airports in Zambia, the Zambia National Airports Corporation, has announced and put out adverts for retail space that's going to encompass the new $360 million terminal building, which will cover the shopping convenience as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but in terms of hospitality, What are you seeing in that area? Because again, we were used to going all the way up Great East Road, going towards arcades, going towards Protea, Radisson Blue. But now, because of this new project, are you seeing any activity closer to the airport in terms of hospitality?
Yes, absolutely. Currently, we have a wildlife lodge called the Chaminuka, which has been running for a couple of years, but that's more also on a touristic sort of hospitality business. We also have the Waterfalls Hotel, which is just a few kilometers from the airport roundabout. There are numerous number of bed and breakfast lodges around that area where your budget, your people on a budget can also live for or be accommodated for a few days, you know, and especially that with this expansion, Lusaka is going to be a hub. We're surrounded by 8 countries, and in the past we haven't utilized this location that we have to our advantage to make sure that we're a hub to connect to all these other beautiful countries which are our neighbors. So with this expansion, meaning that people can get from wherever, from Asia, from Europe, from America into Lusaka, and then from there distribute or connect to other areas. So there's going to be need for overnight accommodation, and quite a number of our clients as a real estate business have bought property in the area with the plans of putting up even up to 5-star hotels in the area.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. So you're seeing actually a pipeline of more hospitality coming on board.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And what you're saying about our neighbors reminds me of a phrase which I started hearing a few years ago.
Right.
Because when we were at school, we used to say we're landlocked, and now we're saying we're land-linked.
Yes, that's a very big advantage.
Yes. Now, what about in terms of industrial activity? You know, we know that there's the Hitachi plant
right.
that has been on that airport road for about 4 years now.
Yes.
What else are we seeing coming up in that area?
In the Lusaka East area, we've got the multi-facility zone, which has been concessioned to some Chinese companies.
Sorry, Brian, I just have to stop you there.
Okay.
Can you, for our audience, our diaspora audience, can you just explain what is a multi-facility economic zone, an MFEZ?
In layman's language, it's simply, it's a term that we borrowed from the Japanese as Zambians to encourage foreign direct investment into our country. We created these zones where manufacturing investors and investors doing all sorts of industrial and commercial activity can be based or clustered so that they gain some advantages from the traditional industrial areas, either in terms of rebates on taxes or special rental rates for the properties that they purchase or rent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a Lusaka East MFEZ.
Yes, there
near
is
the airport.
Near the airport, which has been running for the last 2 years. That's been run by a cluster of Chinese investors, and virtually any sort of manufacturing activity you can find there.
Okay, all right. Are there any other plants coming up? We've seen the Hitachi plant. Anything else?
We've also got another Chinese company which is in the heavy manufacturing and mining equipment machineries, sort of your alternative to Caterpillar or Hitachi, which has recently opened up virtually next door to Hitachi, and this is a showroom for all their heavy goods equipment, all this machinery and excavators and things like that. Yeah, so this one is situated just right next door to Hitachi. Okay. So Hitachi was the trailblazer, and everyone is now following suit. And we in the next sort of 2 years, in the minimum, we hope to see more showrooms coming up in terms of vehicle showrooms, equipment showrooms, catering equipment, and all that. This would be the location to be to be in. Just a few years ago, we saw the Jaguar Land Rover plant open up on the way to the airport on the Great East Road. So we should see more plants come out eastwards, because this is the prime area and this is the face of Lusaka as you get in.
So we've talked about the retail space that's going up.
Right.
We've talked about the hospitality,
Yes.
the hotels. We've talked about how this is really also a growing industrial area. So now I think we can talk about the residential opportunities. Yes,
yeah.
Because I think it's really important, Brian, I'm sure you'd agree with me that, when you're looking to buy a property, you need to understand what's happening in the whole neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah, not just in terms of the size of the plot and the price, but really, is this an area that's growing? Are the prices rising? So given all of this development spurred on by the new airport project, what have you seen in terms of property in that area?
Okay, great, interesting question. Starting from sort of your Kabalonga top end of the market residential area, going on to Ibex Hill, onto Avondale, and through to the airport. Yeah. This is an area that didn't quite have paved roads, but with the coming of the US Embassy in the area, as well as the government being influenced to do the roads in the area to create an alternative to the airport, this has opened up new parcels of land which were previously small holding agriculture, which of course being so close to the city versus doing agriculture, the economics didn't add up. Right. So and with the backlog of housing that we have in Zambia at the moment, which stands at over 3 million housing units, this created an opportunity for new areas to open up. We've seen in the Ibex Hill tremendous growth in terms of property values of between 30 and 50%. We've seen growth in the Avondale area, which I'm fortunate to live in. The value of my house has also increased more than 30%. So this is the area to be in, sort of going towards the airport. Yeah. And we've seen new developments going up in the area as well, areas such as the Bonanza Golf Estate, your Ron Park, Silverest, Sitatunga City, to name but a few. And these are cluster neighborhoods where you purchase a piece of land to develop. In terms of the I'm glad we spoke about the commercial and industrial aspects to this, because this means for somebody who is sitting in New York or in Edinburgh somewhere and wanting to invest back in Lusaka, in Zambia, it means you've got a readily available market from all these people who are working in these commercial areas.
Right, exactly. I think that's an excellent point, Brian. So you're saying that with all the industrial and commercial activity that's going on, people will need somewhere to stay.
Absolutely. Yeah. The airport will most certainly be running on a 24-hour basis, and people will be working in shifts and would need to get to the airport fairly quickly. So they'll need to get there within sort of your half-hour mark to get there pretty quickly. And take, for example, the Kempton Park area of Johannesburg in South Africa. That area has seen tremendous growth in terms of residential accommodation to support the staff that work out of the airport. So that the same will be happening for our country as well.
Fantastic. Because 6 million visitors is no joke. That's a big jump.
It's a massive jump.
Yeah.
Brian,
so now can
I ask a question? Brian, do you have an idea of the value of the land that you're likely to be able to buy there? So if you were somebody who was going to be working at the airport, would that be something you'd be looking at, or is it more somebody who's got more money who's likely to buy somewhere there and then rent it out?
Well, thank you for that question, Tanya. Fortunately, there is a wide range that people can choose from. In terms of dollars, you'd be looking sort of starting from about $6,000 to $10,000 as entry level for a piece of land that would be about 400 to 600 square meters, and anything going up to your luxury golf estate stands.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, Tanya. I just want to follow on. I think that people also in the diaspora need to know that there's something at every price point, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's something at every price point, and then also to utilize the opportunity of sectioned sales or phased sales, where you pay in phases, in installments, for properties that are already built. But even some land developers are offering different payment schemes where you can pay 3 to 12 months for a particular property.
So where should a person start? Like you said, I'm sitting in Edinburgh, I'm sitting in Australia, I've listened to this video and I think fantastic. I want to get in there. I can see that property prices are just going to continue going up. Where does the person start?
Good question. They say the best time to invest in a property was yesterday, and the next best time is now. So buying property is very much a legal process, and you need the right mix of professionals to help you. The best point to start is with estate agents like ourselves. The other professionals to talk to is the legal people themselves, the lawyers, like our colleagues at the Diaspora organization. So, you know, lawyers and estate agents work closely together.
Yes.
So there is no set process or formula to say you start with this professional, then that professional. Mm-hmm. You could either start with Natasha and end up with myself, or start with myself and end up with Natasha. Mm-hmm. So this, we would strongly advise that you consult the right professionals. They have got professional ethics and standards which they adhere to. They are various compensation benefits of using professionals. In the unlikely and unfortunate event that something goes wrong, you've got recourse to your money. Yeah. But so far, you're dealing with legal and above board people. Your money is safe, and to start with, you know, you're not limited to just ourselves. Of course, we are the people out there, but you can do your own investigation and search online, and just make sure that they are registered with the Law Association of Zambia or the Zambia Institute of Estate Agents. And if you're not sure, please do ask the question. Don't feel shy to ask the question.
Thank you. Thank you for emphasizing that point, Brian. It's very important. Okay, I think we've just about come to the end of our time. And I think that it's important for us to summarize all the important points that you've brought up.
Yes.
So Tanya, if you can just help us with the slide deck so that we can do the summary.
Just give me a minute. Okay. Are you able to see it? Okay. Go ahead.
Right. So as we know, there has been a large expansion project, a large investment of capital into expanding the airport facilities. And this includes a new international arrivals and departures area. We're going to have new aprons, taxiways, and a control tower. The estimated investment, as I said, is massive. It's about $360 million. It'll be completed in 2019, and it's going to mean a significant increase in the number of visitors to Zambia, going from about 1 million to 2 million now to 6 million when this new terminal is completed. And Brian took us through the changes that he has seen in the real estate in the area as a result of this. So, Brian?
Yes, we have seen these changes that are going to be happening in the area, and certainly, you know, looking back home to invest in property is the right way to go.
Mm-hmm. You just need to summarize So what you've seen in terms of the retail space?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. At the moment, there is at least 2 shopping malls which are in the area. So when you buy in this area around the airport, you won't have to dash 20 kilometers out or something like that just to get your pint of milk and bread. There's 2 world-class shopping malls there with international retailers and supermarkets in the area. The airport itself, as you come in, or if you're connecting through the airport, would have retail space as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in terms of hotels? In
terms of hotels, at the moment, we have a number of hotels like the Waterfalls Hotel. We've got the Chaminuka Lodge. We've got quite a number of bed and breakfast, airport hotels, as well as one good hotel which has a convention center, which is the Mika Hotel, which we may have just clustered under the B&Bs, but just to mention it, there's that Mika Hotel, which has got excellent conferencing facilities. And one important point to note as well is that the COMESA headquarters will be in the vicinity. And this is just about 2 kilometers from the airport roundabout. So this gives more power for buying and renting properties with dollar, because this is a diplomatic organization. So that's going to be in the area as well.
In terms of industrial activity?
Industrial activity, we've got the Lusaka East MFAS, which is just next door to the airport, and is an extension of the existing MFASes, which are in Chambishi, and another one in the southeast of Lusaka. We've also got the $15 million manufacturing plant by the Japanese conglomerate Hitachi, and we've also got the strong Chinese plant of Sunny, which is completed and operational at the moment.
And what this means for the residential market?
Residential market, we haven't in Lusaka and Zambia as a whole, we haven't previously had the opportunity of living in clusters. It's all been these big properties on their own, these yards, as we call them in Zambia. Yeah, but now we're getting into, people are exposed to class and quality and lifestyle. We've got lifestyle estates which are coming up now, like your Bonanza Golf Estate. You want to live, play, and work in the same area, and these new residential areas are giving us this opportunity. What a wonderful opportunity!
Yes, it is.
Yes, and we've got your Ron Park, we've got Silverest, we've got Statunga City, we've got Chaminuka. For somebody looking to live on an Esquarian estate, where you can have your horses and have your sort of country kind of life. Those are the areas that are there, including your Ibex Hill and Avondale areas.
Yes, and something at every price point.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Brian. I just want to put up your contact details.
Okay.
If anyone would like to know more, then your contact details are there on the slide, your phone number, your email address.
That's right.
Yes, and if they would also like to visit our website is buyingpropertyinzambia.com. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thank you, Natasha, for having me. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to working with you closely in the future.
So do we.
Okay.
Over to you, Tanya.
Thank you so much. That was really interesting. I found it really informative, and it's actually really quite inspiring when you think of all the different things that are happening in Zambia. You get a sense so many people left for economic reasons, but now it's like there's a lot of economic reasons to come back for. So that's really true. Thank you so much, Brian. Okay, well, thank you all very much, and we look forward to speaking to you on our next episode, which I hope you're enjoying so far. Please feel free to get in touch. Let us know if you have any thoughts, comments, ideas that you'd like us to cover. We'd love to hear from you as always. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.